Hi everyone, I decided to do a bonus laser talk this week, two of them this week, thanks to a viewer request to talk about some Judy Garland LaserDiscs, and I actually don't have a whole lot of Judy on LaserDisc yet. I have a little bit of Judy Garland on VHS, and now some Betamax, and CED, and DVD, but not a lot yet on LaserDisc. Definitely I have a huge list of just about all her movies I'd like a copy of on that format. But yeah, so far I have some pretty good ones though. Some of my favorites. One thing that I love about Judy Garland is not just her performances in movies, but I really like her music. She's one of the very few artists that actually have a little bit, I think 2 or 3 albums on vinyl. Not really a huge vinyl collector, but she's someone who I decided I want a few things in that form, and therefore I have Judy Garland in concert. Really, really nice LaserDisc here. Absolutely love this, and I love the quote on the back here. There's all kinds of information about, of course, all the songs that she sings during this concert presentation, its original video broadcast and things. But the top little quote here I want to read because this gets across not just how amazing this is and why this is something that's cool and special, but I think in many ways it refers to a lot of LaserDiscs of some favorite films and why I have an attachment to that form of the movie versus a VHS or DVD or that type of thing. When I met with Pioneer artists to discuss the concept of the Judy Garland in concert video disc, it became apparent that our purpose was to create a collector's item on an enduring medium for all those who value and treasure such examples of talent as rare as Judy's. I believe that the quality of this production, together with the technical accuracy of the disc system, will place this performance permanently in the hearts and archives of people everywhere. And again, yeah, that really does describe this, and not just this, but having something like this on LaserDisc. It's so amazing as a fan to have this type of performance. It is a fantastic performance with a whole bunch of songs. We have, what, 23 different songs here, of course, ending with Over the Rainbow. And it's very mixed feelings because they're all very different songs, and they really take me back to my childhood growing up watching a lot of Judy Garland movies, but at the same time, there's also a sadness present in some of these songs, because this was from later in her life after you could really see the effects of her life and the drugs taking their toll. Really, she had a very, very rough childhood, mostly teenage years, and you could really see that, I think, after a certain point, just with her presence, just with the way she moves, the way she looks, you could really hit this point pretty early on in her life, really. I mean, she really wasn't very old, and you could really see everything taking its toll. And when you get to that point, there are some instances where you do get a feeling, too, of a little bit of sadness of that, of what was lost and what happened. And it just, I don't know, there's so many emotions attached to so many songs, so then there's just pure joy in other ones, and it's just different variations, and I think that really shows through in her performance in this of Over the Rainbow. I think her performance of that song changed over the years, and it's very heartfelt, but at the same time almost harrowing. It's almost just, it has almost a sad longing feeling to it, and it is a great way of ending that concert too, because that's really the feeling you're left with afterwards, is this kind of this joy of what you see her do and what you hear her sing, but also this sorrowful kind of a little bit of sadness over what happened and how many of those things were brought to you, and the fact that she's so long gone and things like that. There are a lot of mixed emotions, but it's beautiful, and you want to feel those conflicting emotions sometime. And the overall feeling you get after watching this disc is you feel somewhat melancholy, somewhat subdued, but at the same time it's kind of this joyous meditation feeling when you leave throughout it. It really just kind of leaves you in this emotionally exhausted state where you just kind of want to reflect for a little bit before you move on and do something else. And also here, there are a bunch of different variations of The Wizard of Oz on LaserDisc, a whole bunch of different releases, some basic ones in the Criterion Collection, and one that I really, really want to get, one of my absolute most wanted, is this beautiful white and emerald box set for The Wizard of Oz. Gorgeous, but what I consider to be the second best release as far as the ones that I want is the one I currently have so far, the 50th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz. And it's just a really nice, gorgeous gatefold release here. Really like that. So a beautiful release. I really enjoyed this. You know, it's not the giant emerald box set, but second best in my mind. So I really enjoy having this. And when there's a good transfer, I've talked about a couple of different movies where transfer was not so good with Technicolor. There's something about that era when you go through, you know, late 30s solidly through the 60s. So many Technicolor films of those couple of eras put together have this really beautiful, vibrant look, and the colors are so deep, and some like the reds and oranges and things are so vivid, and everything just pops, and it looks beautiful and colorful, and it's beyond the color of reality. It's something it's overly colorful in a way, and it gives it just an amazing look. And when you have a movie that uses color well, that is of one of those eras, that also has a really good transfer. Things really pop, and it looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's just kind of fun to watch. And this, thankfully, is a very good copy of this movie, and just it looks beautiful. And you also have a couple other features here. You can also switch through the secondary audio channels. You have there for the full soundtrack, another one where it's the music and effect tracks. So you can isolate the musical score of the film as you're watching. So you can really, it gives it a nice way of rewatching it, just to listen to the music and see the visuals, or to just watch the movie normally. Either way, it's just kind of a nice little extra here. So this is a gorgeous release of a film that is very special to me, because when you're a little kid, every little kid I think goes through this, where there's a certain movie they pick and they just watch it endlessly for months and months and months, and then sometimes they move on to the next thing, and that's the only thing they watch for months and months and months. And I watch my young cousin, who's only about 6½, and he goes through phases like that. Right now he's on a Small Soldiers kick, and it's just, I can't even, between the times I've seen parts of it with him and his mom and just on his own, he's probably seen it like 20-something times in the past 2 months, you know, maybe even more than that, who knows. But before that, there was a kick of something else, and this was one of those that, as a little kid, just from what people have told me, because I don't remember too much, I was a little too young, I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz. And I know I had a bunch of little figures about this tall, and they each came with they were trying a little small round base that was a part of the Yellow Brick Road, and I remember those figures very vividly. And I remember watching this movie, but apparently I was like super obsessed for a long time with The Wizard of Oz and watching it all the time. And it is a movie that is just a true classic that has stuck with me throughout my entire life, and will be one of the first movies that I definitely show my kids and that type of thing. It's a movie that I think not only stands the test of time so far, I think it'll never go away. I think it's one of those rare classics that even when we, you know, this is the 50th anniversary edition, I think even when we get to the 100th anniversary, this is not something that'll be forgotten. I think this will still be a part of the public consciousness, and this film is just an absolute classic, and I really can't say much more about it, because it's been talked about to death for, you know, decades and decades and decades and generations. But this is just an absolutely beautiful movie, and I'm very happy. Again, you only have 2 things so far of Judy Garland on LaserDisc, but for only having 2 things, I really enjoy what I have so far on this format. And that quote, I think, from the back of the Judy Garland in concert explains a bit of why it's special to have these type of things on the LaserDisc format. It feels just, I don't know, it has this almost magical quality for some reason. I guess it depends on the person, but for me, it's kind of like I have a copy of something on DVD, or I have a copy on you know, like some other format, VHS or whatever. But here it's like I really have a copy of this movie. Like I have a copy to collect and love versus just a copy to watch, and it's just, I don't know, there's something different about it for me to have something on LaserDisc format.